My journey, from a farm boy in Taiwan to a medical research scientist. Number 1316, July 18, 2025. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Background. Preface. From a farm in Taiwan to Wall Street and beyond, I failed 7 times, built the world's second most successful IPO of 1995, survived 5 heart attacks, kidney failure, and a stroke, and then wrote over 1,300 medical research papers to save my own life and help others. This is my journey of resilience, discovery, and applying mathematics, physics, AI, and humanity to medicine. Most of my readers and social media followers read my medical research findings but have no idea about my background or why I have chosen this lonely journey of personalized medicine. What follows is a brief article sharing my journey and the stories behind how I became a medical research scientist, applying mathematics, physics, engineering, and artificial intelligence to the study of biomedicine. Background. I was raised in a farming village in Taichung, central Taiwan, and moved to the United States at the age of 20 to pursue higher education. My journey since then has been shaped by challenge, resilience, curiosity, and a determination to overcome, and furthermore, help others overcome, especially educational barriers from poverty and serious health challenges from poor lifestyles. Entrepreneurship. In 1981, in Silicon Valley, I started my first enterprise, building the world's first portable personal computer, about the size of a briefcase. Unfortunately, it failed because the market was too early and I didn't have enough funding to sustain it. I have always been an inventor at heart, though never with the intention to show off. I simply enjoy solving problems and creating tools that can advance human capability. My second attempt came in 1983. I built an artificial intelligence system for English language processing, what could be considered a predecessor of today's ChatGPT. At that time, I worked with an English professor from Stanford University. We failed again, this time because of technical challenges from both the language side and the computer side. Then I developed a computer-aided design, CAD system for mechanical and architectural engineering. After 3 years, the revenue simply couldn't keep up with the cost, and I had to close that down too. After several failed businesses, I realized that technical knowledge alone wasn't enough, so I went back to school to earn an MBA. I learned that knowledge was a necessary condition, but still not sufficient for business success. In total, I tried and failed 7 times. Those failures taught me perseverance and humility. At that point, I decided to return to the corporate world as a salaryman, a Japanese term to gain both technical and business experience from the inside. I became Senior Director of the Graphics Processing Unit GPU Software Group at Sun Microsystems, and later was hired as the President of the Integrated Circuits Design Division at Cadence Design Systems. Despite lacking a formal educational background in electronics engineering, I learned and developed world-class algorithms for placing millions of transistors and routing millions of wires on tiny chips at the same time, knowledge that was critical and would become even more critical later on. In 1994, I left Cadence to start my own IC design tool company, this time determined to challenge Cadence's leadership directly. That company, Avant Corporation, succeeded and became the second most successful IPO on NASDAQ in 1995, just behind Netscape. My 2 investors were among the top venture capitalists in the world, the same ones who backed companies like eBay, Juniper Networks, Zillow, and Nvidia. That year, I became the most accomplished Asian American CEO on Wall Street. Even today, the technology I developed at Avanti still dominates the global semiconductor market and powers countless devices worldwide. However, success also brought jealousy and attacks, particularly as an Asian American successful entrepreneur. I faced legal challenges and fought for 8 years, incurring $500 million in legal expenses, even though I was ultimately discharged without any wrongdoing. But that long and bitter struggle gave me 5 heart attacks between 1994 and 2004. In 2002, I decided to sell my successful enterprise and leave Silicon Valley to self-study behavioral and abnormal psychology in order to understand the darker side of human nature. At the same time, I donated millions of dollars to support abandoned orphans and abused girls and women. I also wrote more than 50 psychology research papers. Looking back, I realized that those 7 failures, and everything that followed, ultimately shaped me more than the business success ever did. I became a better and more well-rounded human being. They taught me courage, discipline, patience, and the empathy to keep going even when no one else believed. Being ahead of my time, building a portable PC before the market was ready, or creating an AI system long before the technology matured, was frustrating at times. But it also gave me a vision of what was possible, and that vision kept me going. To me, this journey has never been just about business success or money accumulation. It has been about creating something meaningful, solving real problems, and pushing human capability forward, step by step, failure by failure, until success finally came. Academic mentors. I studied at MIT, where I was mentored by 2 extraordinary professors who profoundly shaped my thinking and career. Professor Norman Jones, a pioneer of dynamic plasticity and viscoplasticity in engineering materials, taught me to view complex systems as nonlinear, plastic and irreversible. His findings later helped Boeing develop energy-absorbing composite materials for safer, lighter aircraft such as the 767 and 787 jumbo jets. Professor Patrick Henry Winston, the father of academic AI, taught me how to apply machine learning to build intelligent systems that could self-learn and then predict, decades before AI became mainstream in the 21st century. These 2 mentors, Professor Jones, whom I still visit almost every year in Liverpool, England, and Professor Winston, who sadly passed away in 2019, inspired me to pursue an independent life of inquiry, innovation, and lifelong continuous learning. Turning points. After a long career as an entrepreneur, failing 7 times before becoming the most successful Asian American CEO on Wall Street in the mid-1990s, I suffered 5 heart attacks prior to 2004, kidney failure in 2010, and, most recently, a stroke on June 21, 2025. During this most recent stroke, I was treated and saved by the brain neurology team at a nearby prominent hospital. While recovering, the department head told me he had never heard of any medical researcher who had written over 1,000 papers. As of July 18, 2025, I have written 1,315 medical research papers, likely making me the most prolific medical researcher in the world, according to 6 different AI sources. But my research has never been about fame, money, or power. I do it to save my own life first, and then to help others avoid what I endured. I spent 20 years developing a medical AI system specifically for my self-use. Since 2010, I have collected 4 million personal data points from my own body. I conducted all analyses using my medical AI tool on my iPhone and wrote every paper on the same device. I am completely self-sufficient in my research, with no assistants or associates, using my own body as a dedicated laboratory, and avoiding medications entirely until my recent stroke. Because I avoided medications before June 21, 2025, the data I gathered are authentic, unmedicated pathological data, revealing the true effects of lifestyle changes on human health. I believe that only someone who has stood at the edge of death can attain this level of clarity and determination. I now share my findings with others, hoping to help them as well. I maintain a Japanese line group with 56 followers, mostly medical doctors, professors, and professionals, and a Chinese line group of 96 members from both Taiwan and the US. I use commercial AI tools to translate my research work into Japanese and Chinese so they can learn from it too. I recently launched my own YouTube channel, featuring AI-synthesized voices reading summaries of my medical papers for interested audiences in 4 different languages: English, Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish. My medical research method. The viscoplastic energy VMT model I have used in my biomedical research has a long and distinguished lineage. In the 1650s, Isaac Newton described how fluids deform under stress, laying the foundation of continuum mechanics. In the 1960s, my mid-advisor Professor Jones extended these ideas to solid mechanics. In 2020, I applied these same principles to medicine, seeing the human body as an even more nonlinear, dynamic, plastic, and irreversible system than any engineering material. Just as Newtonian mechanics took centuries to reach full application, and dynamic plasticity took decades to influence modern engineering, I do not expect the medical profession to immediately understand or accept the VMT model in medicine. Changing how people think about complex systems takes time, often longer than a single lifetime. Still, I continue this work with quiet confidence and strong determination, as in my entrepreneurial days. Someday, perhaps a century from now, others may recognize the value of applying viscoplastic energy concepts to medicine and carry these ideas forward to improve human health. At the very least, I know that by using this method, I have been able to discover many interesting and clinically verified findings that have improved both my own health and the lives of other patients. That is good enough for me.